I am officially starting my build for a sub 2 hour, 50-minute marathon this fall. Last year, I ran a 2:57:31 marathon in my debut just 6 months after starting to train. And this spring, I ran a 1:19:59 half marathon. Now the goal for this fall marathon is to run that sub 250 time while maintaining muscle size, strength, and appearance. That's gonna be the tricky part. So in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what I'm doing for my training plan across 4 key dimensions: my running, my lifting, my nutrition, and my recovery. Let's go. Now the goal of this running plan is to build miles slowly and sustainably across the build, which is gonna be about 12 weeks. The running is gonna be split across 3 types of runs. We're gonna have easy runs, we're gonna have track speed workouts, and we're gonna have long runs. It's gonna be about 6 days of running per week. That's gonna be 4 easy runs. That's gonna be 1 track speed workout, and that's gonna be 1 long run. Easy runs are supposed to be done at a conversational pace, meaning you can actually talk to someone while you're doing those runs. From a heart rate perspective, that's what they call zone 2, which is roughly going to be in the 125 to 145 range for most people. The simple calculation you can do to figure out your zone 2 heart rate, or at least estimate it, would be 220 minus your age times 60 to 70%. That's gonna find that zone 2 heart rate for you. I find it much easier to just think about what's the pace where this is conversational, where I can be talking to a friend while I'm doing it. Plus, those runs are a lot more fun when you're actually doing it with a friend. So have a chat, go out and do those easy runs. That's gonna be 4 times a week that you're doing that. Track speed workouts are going to be at faster paces, really gonna be pushing your heart rate up to those peak levels. That's gonna be doing some combination of 400-meter runs, 800-meter runs, maybe 1,200 or a mile, and you're gonna have rest periods between 1 minute and 3 minutes in between each of those. And then finally, the long runs are going to be the things that push the mileage on your overall week. So you're gonna go from anything starting around a 10-mile to working all the way up to a 22-mile run, and you're gonna build mileage while also having some faster miles built into those long runs. They're gonna be a combination of easy work, which is those slower conversational paces, with some of the faster work that's gonna be at your marathon pace. All right, so an example week at the start of this build will look like this. Monday, you do a 5-mile easy run. Tuesday, 5-mile easy run. Wednesday, 7-mile track workout. Thursday, 5-mile easy run. Friday, 5-mile easy run. And Saturday, a 14-mile long run. That will give you 41 miles of total work. Now we're gonna build that overall mileage to get to a much higher point by the end of the build. So a peak week might look something like this. Those easy runs on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to be more like 8 miles. That track workout is gonna be more like 12 miles, and then that long run workout could be up to 22 miles at peak, which is gonna be 66 miles of total work. So a significant build. The goal for me is going to be to grow my mileage on a weekly basis about 5 to 10% per week, assuming that I'm feeling okay, assuming that I'm staying healthy along the way. That's gonna build that capacity over time, sustainably and durably, so that I'm ready to go and peaking at the right time when it comes down to marathon day. So an example track workout might look something like this: 1.5 mile warm up and a 1.5 mile cool down. In between those two, you might run 6 by 400 meters fast with a minute rest in between each, and then a 2-mile tempo after that. That could be an example track workout for you, but there's many different types that you can do. If you look something up, you'll be able to find different examples. Example long run workout: start with a bunch of easy miles on the front end and then do a progression on the back end where you're speeding up, where you're picking up the pace on miles to finish at something around your marathon target pace. All right, now we're on to the lifting plan. This was the biggest issue that I had last year, losing a ton of weight during my marathon build as the miles went up. So now we've got a plan in place to make sure that doesn't happen again this year. The goal is to be a great runner, but not ever look like a great runner. So we're gonna get after it and walk through the entire lifting plan and exactly how we're gonna do that.
Disturbing the peace with some peace of mind. Sleeping in jeans, I'ma need a night. OD on the cheap advice. OC on the cheapest flight. Lately I've been on the move trying to get to something, but I told her I've been running just to see the sights.
So the breakdown of this lifting plan is that we're gonna have a push, pull, legs split. Push is chest, shoulders, triceps. Pull is gonna be back and biceps, and then legs is gonna be legs. We're gonna do anywhere from 4 to 6 sessions per week, depending on how we're feeling. The thing I like about this push-pull leg split is that you can do up to 6 sessions a week because of the way that you're splitting up the workouts. And assuming my recovery is good and I continue to feel good as the miles build, I'll hit 6 sessions per week when I'm at home. But if I start to feel fatigued, if I start to feel worn down, I can lower that, pull back to 3, 4 sessions a week, and still feel like I'm getting volume, still feel like I'm getting the lifting work in. The basic composition of all of these workouts is going to be the same, regardless of whether it's a push day, a pull day, or a leg day. We're gonna have a primary movement, which is done for 4 sets of about 5 to 8 reps. We're gonna have a secondary movement, which is done for 3 sets of about 8 to 12 reps. And then we're gonna have 2 separate supersets of accessory movements. Supersets meaning that you're pairing 2 exercises together. Those are each gonna be done for about 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And then we're gonna finish with core work at the end of every day to make sure that we're getting that in. All right, examples of some of the primary movements. For push, you're gonna have either a barbell or dumbbell bench press, incline or flat. For pull, you're gonna have either a pull-up, pull-down, or a row. And for legs, you're gonna have either a squat or deadlift variation. For secondary movements, on push day, you're gonna have things like a dumbbell shoulder press variation. On the pull day, you're gonna have either pull-ups, seated cable rows, or dumbbell rows. And on leg day, you're gonna have hack squats, lunges, Romanian deadlifts, glute bridges, or split squats. For accessory movements, on push day, you're gonna have things like flies, tricep extensions, and shoulder raises. On pull day, you're gonna have face pulls, straight arm pull downs, and bicep curls. And on leg days, you're gonna have things like hamstring curls, leg extensions, leg presses, step ups, and calf raises. Core work is going to include things like hanging leg raises, reverse crunches, stability ball rollouts, side planks, ab wheel rollouts, and any of your favorite core workout exercises. We're gonna put a few example workouts up on the screen here. You can take these, modify them as you wish, but it's a good starting point for a push-pull leg split. So each of these lifts will take about 45 to 60 minutes if you're staying on task. This is a big time commitment across both the running and the lifting. It can take about 2 hours a day if you're doing this full program. Now there are obviously ways to scale this back, to pull back on the mileage, to pull back on the number of lifts during the week. But if you want to go after big, ambitious goals, the time commitment is a real part of it, and it is necessary. An example week for combining both the lifting and the running might look like Monday, you're doing an easy run and legs. Tuesday, you're doing an easy run and push. Wednesday, you're doing a track run and pull. Thursday, you're doing an easy run and legs. Friday, you're doing an easy run and push. Saturday, you are doing your long run and you're off from lift. And then Sunday, you're doing off from running and a pull. That would give you 6 workouts for the week, and it would give you those 6 runs for the week. Obviously, that's a lot of total volume, which is gonna take us to the next most important part of this training program, which is gonna be your nutrition and your recovery. And one final note, on days when I have both a run and a lift, I'm typically gonna be doing the run before the lift. Reason for that is that the primary aim of this entire build is a running goal. It's a time goal for this marathon. I always want to do the thing that's my primary focus first, because I know that my intensity and my focus is going to be there. Whereas if I did the run after the lift, I might be a little bit drained mentally and physically and not fully be there and present to hit whatever goal I'm trying to hit on that given day around the run. So if that's similar to you, you want to make sure you're doing the run before the lift. And if you're the type of person that gets drained from the run and you don't feel like you have the energy for the lift, make sure you're hitting your nutrition before that, which we'll talk about when we go over to the grocery store. All right, so that brings us to maybe the most important part of this plan, which is going to be nutrition. Now, Nutrition is important because if you're not eating enough calories, you're gonna lose a whole ton of weight during the build. And if you're not eating the right type of calories, you're not gonna perform at your best. We're gonna walk through some of how I think about macronutrients, the different things that I'm eating, and then we'll talk about the sources of how I'm getting those calories. The main thing we're gonna be talking about here is macronutrients. That's protein, carbs, and fats. These are the three building blocks of proper nutrition and of the diet that you're gonna put together here. Now, creating a baseline for where your macros are going to be is the best way to not overcomplicate nutrition. For me, I know that at my current mileage level, the macronutrients that are gonna keep me around the same weight are 225 grams of protein, 300 grams of carbs, and 125 grams of fats. To calculate the number of total calories there, you multiply the amount of protein by 4, the amount of carbs by 4, and the amount of fats by 9. So that total for me, 225, 300, and 125, is 3,225 calories a day. That's my current baseline, that at around that 40 miles average per week, I know that's gonna keep me at right around the same body weight where I am today. So the first rule with the nutrition is that you wanna make sure you're prioritizing protein. A good rule of thumb is 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight. I'm gonna be on the higher end of that because I know that I'm training a lot and intensely, so I'm right around 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. That's that 225 level for me. So in order to not lose weight as my miles build, I'm going to be increasing the calories, increasing the macros over the period of this build. For me, that's gonna be around carbs. Protein's gonna stay consistent at 225 a day, fat's gonna stay consistent at 125 a day, but the carbs are gonna go from starting point of 300 per day to 400 per day at the max. Now that's 100 additional grams of carbs per day, which is 400 calories as per that earlier calculation. My rough math there is that if my average daily miles is gonna be up about 3 to 4 miles per day, then that extra amount of calories, which is 400 total calories, is enough to just offset that and make it so that I'm still at that baseline and not losing weight as I continue this mileage build throughout the next 3 months. Now, in addition to prioritizing protein, my second core rule around nutrition is making sure that you're stacking your carbs around the time of your workout. So right before, during, and after is gonna be the most important time to make sure you have those carbs for the energy source, before, during, and after your workout. The most important thing here is going to be the cleanliness of the sources of those macronutrients that we're trying to hit. So let's walk around the store, you can come with me, and I'll show you the types of foods that I'm eating to hit my protein, carbs, and fats. This is gonna be a focus on single ingredient, whole, unprocessed foods. Let's go do it. Starting with proteins, eggs are gonna be a key source of protein for me. So grab some pasture-raised eggs, some good egg whites. I'm gonna grab some meats. I'm a big fan. Grass-fed ground beef, key source for me. Grass-fed burgers. That's not as lean, higher in fats, but really high quality source of protein, and I love red meat. Other protein sources that we're gonna be grabbing here is a lean turkey, ground turkey, my wife loves this, and some free-range chicken breasts. A couple other ones that I love, cottage cheese, great source of protein. My son also loves cottage cheese, so that's another way for the whole family. And then Greek yogurt, great source. Mix this with a little bit of like chocolate whey protein or something. It makes a delicious dessert that'll get you an additional 40, 50 grams of protein. Great way to hit those protein targets. One final protein source, I love whole milk. So on the carb sources, I really stick to potatoes, rice, fruits, honey, and then a pure maple syrup if you're trying to get something fast acting right before or during a workout. These things are like crack for runners. Open one of these up, put a little raw honey and sea salt on it. Insane energy before a workout. It's as good as any pre-workout. All right, final macronutrient thing would be around fats. I'm gonna prioritize things like olive oil, grass-fed butter, avocados, and then some from nuts, but more so I'm gonna get a lot of the fats from the whole eggs that I'm gonna eat, and then a lot of those meats. So I don't specifically calculate any of the macros around veggies, but I make sure that in every single meal there's some sort of green leafy vegetable to make sure that I'm getting the nutrients from that. Final piece of the nutrition puzzle is going to be around supplements. I keep it pretty simple here. I focus on a clean whey protein source if I need it to hit those protein targets, 5 grams of creatine a day, just a super simple creatine monohydrate, really, really good for you. And then because I don't like fish, I take a fish oil supplement, vitamin D if I'm not getting a ton of sunlight, and beyond that, not much else in the diet. Quick note on running gels, which is a common supplement that people are taking during these marathon builds. Most running gels screw with my stomach. I hate them and I try to avoid them as much as possible. I'm currently experimenting with a whole bunch of different things, much more natural than your typical running gel. There's a company called Untapped that makes a maple syrup based running gel, which I'm gonna try, and I'll get back to people with what my favorite ones are. But finding something that agrees with you and that works during your long runs, that you can hit those carbs, have a sugar source that gives you that quick energy during those long runs, that's gonna be the key.
It sounds like millions of people are gonna see this.
Do you have like 3 followers at least?
I have a few more than 3.
Or honey.
Thank you.
Leave it.
He is fun, but he does cause trouble.
Oh, but I love him. He's super fun. But is this like a day in the life of your life, or like...
Yeah, we're doing a thing around like training for a marathon. All right, that's all for nutrition. Gonna head back home, make a meal, and then we'll talk about the final piece of this build plan, which is recovery. Let's go. All right, that brings us to the 4th part, and arguably the most important part of this entire marathon prep and training plan, which is recovery. Why is it so important? Well, the biggest threat to you achieving your goals when you're going after something ambitious like a marathon time is getting hurt along the way. So having a really thoughtful recovery plan is extremely important. So my recovery plan has 4 parts. The first is daily foam rolling. This is pretty simple. Any foam roller will do. I really just spend 3 to 5 minutes, a couple seconds on each major muscle group. So focusing on the legs, back, sides of your body, and then I roll out my feet with a lacrosse ball, which just feels great on a daily basis. Second piece of the recovery is going to be some daily mobility. Now this doubles for me as recovery as well as a warm-up before any of the activities. So you've seen some of this with the training, with the running, and with the lifting, but I'll do things like squat to stands, 10 reps of that. I'll do hip switches, I'll do dead bugs, I'll do a Spider-Man stretch, I'll do a little bit of bear crawling, some of that basic daily mobility work that just keeps your body moving well, keeps the stability, and keeps that flexibility as you're continuing to train and as the volume builds up. That brings us to the final 2 pieces of this recovery puzzle, which are my favorite pieces and why I'm out here right now. That's the cold plunge that I've got over here to my left, and that's the sauna that I've got over here to my right. Cold plunge, I get into it every single morning, first thing to start the day, about 3 to 5 minutes on somewhere between 37 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. That is damn cold. That is not comfortable. It does not feel good when you get in. It feels incredible when you get out. Sauna, I do about 20 minutes every single night on right around 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That is damn hot. Super uncomfortable after a period of time. You gotta bring a water in there with you. And then about once a week, I'm gonna do a contrast session. So that's what we're doing here tonight. In the evening, I come out if I've got a little bit more time, and that's gonna be a protocol where you go 3 to 5 minutes in the cold plunge, followed by about 20 minutes in the sauna, and you're gonna alternate back and forth and then finish on the cold. Incredible for your body, incredible for flushing out inflammation, for feeling great, for sleeping great at night, and for the recovery protocol to finish off with something really, really strong. All right. Always got to breathe into this before you get in, because this is damn cold. Oof. Big breath before you get in, and then as I always say, always dunk. The dunking is actually science. It promotes something called a dive reflex, which actually helps you adjust to the cold. So a lot of people ask about the benefits of this for me. The first thing in the morning one for me is all about mental clarity, focus, and energy. I wake up really early. I'm up by 4:15 in the morning. So doing the cold plunge to start the day is like the one hard thing that I do to start my morning that makes everything else feel easy. I get in here 3 to 5 minutes, listen to the birds, look around, and no matter what happens the rest of my day, I feel like a winner. Locks you in mentally, gets you focused, gets you ready for the day. It has all sorts of purported health benefits, metabolism, energy, all of these other things. For me, that's all upside. I love the mental clarity, I love the focus, I love those benefits. That's why I've continued to do it every single day, basically without fail for the last, I don't know, 2+ years now at this point. So I'm gonna do 3 to 5 minutes in here, then we're gonna start alternating between this and the sauna for this contrast session. See you on the other side. One of the other things when you get out of the cold plunge, allowing your body to warm itself up for a few minutes is a really important part of the recovery process. So you want to immediately get into a hot shower after that morning cold plunge. I normally try to do 3 to 5 minutes after I get out of that one in the morning, just doing some jumping jacks, just moving around, doing some push-ups, trying to allow my body to warm itself up, because that part of it is a really important piece of the recovery puzzle. Let's get over into the sauna now for this contrast session. Yeah, we've got the sauna ripping at 200 degrees. I come in here every single night, spend about 20 minutes in there. This is like how I wind down at the end of the night. I'm actually gonna grab it while we're filming this. I always bring in a notepad, a pen, and whatever reading that I wanna do in the evening. It's usually like some ideas, something that I'm trying to focus on, something that I'm thinking about for content, for writing, for my book, whatever it is that I'm working on, I bring it in there because there's no distractions. I don't have my phone, it's too hot in there to bring it. So it's a great time of night to just unwind, and it really helps promote sleep in the evening. So great for your cardiovascular health. There's all this science that shows that it improves longevity, improves your lifespan, improves your heart health, but it's also great for your mind. Unwinding at the end of the day, getting rid of any of that stress or tension. And as I said, huge for this marathon recovery to be doing this on a consistent basis. So if you have access to things like this, to the cold plunge, to the sauna, use them. If you don't have access to things like this, cold showers work great in the morning, super effective for getting your mind right, for getting some of those anti-inflammatory benefits. And if you don't have access to a sauna, try to do a hot shower at night right before bed. Similar effects for promoting sleep, which is gonna be, at the end of the day, your most important tool in your recovery, that's sleep. So making sure that you're getting 7 to 8 hours every single night is important. This will help with that, but a hot shower will do.
It's hot. Sweating my damn ass off in here. No joke. At about 12 to 15 minutes, you're probably gonna wanna get out. It's kind of that same pain as being at the end of a long run. Waiting it out to get to the 20-minute mark, pushing that last mile, whatever it is, feels great. And you sleep incredible after this.
All right, just got out of the sauna, done for the night. We're gonna go hit the last and most important part of any recovery protocol, which is sleep. 7 to 8 hours a night at an absolute minimum. If you can get more than that, God bless you. But 7 to 8 hours a night will do the trick. Just make sure you're getting that, because if you're gonna be training hard, you have to be recovering hard. All right, that's a wrap on this marathon prep, how I'm planning to get after this sub 250 hour marathon. You can take the lessons from this and apply them however you'd like. The running training, you can scale that down to whatever your goals are. The lifting training, you can do the same. Everything from a nutrition standpoint, you can customize to your own life. And the recovery, you can make the best with whatever you have. The point is that you take action, that you do something, that you drive towards whatever goals that you might have for your life. That's all for this one. And as always, until next time, stay curious.
So I want to be right about here.
Blah, 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 blah.
Adriana